What's up guys, and welcome to my first fantasy football video. I'm just basically going to be running through my team, my first draft of my team, and essentially just going through each player and the fixtures coming up and just why I've chosen each player. I think the best way of explaining that would just be to go through each fixture list and on the first match day and explain how the results are going to go, how I think the results will go, and then based on that you can sort of figure out why I've chosen the players that I have. Bear in mind this is only my first draft, so yeah, it may change. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so just in the first match, Turkey versus Italy, I think this will be a pretty close match. I think Italy I think they've gone on some crazy unbeaten streak recently, and they've got a pretty well-rounded team. They play. I mean, Italian teams tend to be pretty good defensively, but even their manager now, Mancini, he's pretty good at playing attacking football as well. So you've got an Italian side who's defensively sound and offensively they can score goals as well. But then having said that, I think Turkey only conceded. I think they conceded the fewest goals in qualifications and also in friendlies, and that's including the Nations League as well. So defensively, Turkey are really good as well. So I think this is going to be a really close match, but I do think Italy will win it. Having said that, I don't think I'm probably going to pick any players from either of these two teams for the first match day. I think that there's better fixtures to choose from, and if you remember for the Euro Fantasy League, you can pretty much choose a new team for each match day. Yeah, it's not like Fantasy Premier League where you choose a player that's going to last you for 3 or 4 game weeks, and you look at the fixtures over a 4 or 5 game week period. You pretty much get a new team for each match day. So I think there's better fixtures to choose from. I think this one will actually be quite close. I'll probably predict Italy to win, but both teams to score. In which case, it's pretty hard to figure out which player is going to do well, because neither option is going to be good defensively, and for attackers, it's kind of hard to predict who's going to score. You've got a few different options for Italy. You've got the likes of Immobile, you've got Insigne, you've got Barella, and I know a lot of people picked Chiesa, though I don't think he will start. But there's a lot of different options for Italy who could score, and same for Turkey really. Although, yeah, I mean it's a difficult decision to figure out this one, so it's better to just move on to other fixtures. So next one is Wales versus Switzerland. Again, the two very defensive teams. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this game. If there is a goal, it probably come from Gareth Bale for Wales. And for Switzerland, I mean, it could literally be anyone. I mean, maybe Shaqiri. But then again, I mean, I don't know Switzerland's squad that well. I just know they're a very defensively sound team. They conceded, I think it was 6 goals in total over the Nations League qualifiers and friendlies. So they're pretty defensively good team. Again, Wales, they don't score many goals, and they don't concede too many either. They're probably just going to play park the bus style football. One thing I will say is they have lost their manager Ryan Giggs recently. I think yes. So I mean that might make an impact on their squad. If I had to go with a team to win, I'd probably pick Switzerland, but I think there won't be many goals in this, so I think maybe potentially pick a Switzerland defender. I wouldn't go with Wales attackers or Wales defenders, to be honest. Next one is a bit easier to figure out. I think Denmark will quite comfortably beat Finland, and defensively, Denmark are a pretty good team as well. Only 6 goals conceded during the qualifiers and Nation League and friendlies. They've got some really good 4.5 options, so just look at my team quickly. I think I've gone with, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but he's only 4.5 million, and he's from Denmark, and he's pretty cheap. So I would go with a Denmark defender. I don't think Finland score many goals, and they're one of the weakest teams in the tournament. So yeah, Denmark defenders, potentially Denmark attacker, maybe like Eriksson perhaps, or Wind. I know he's quite an under the radar forward, but there's only 3 forward spots and there's better options there maybe. So I'll prioritise a Denmark defender. It's a good fixture for that. Next one's Belgium versus Russia. I think this is quite a comfortable win for Belgium, and they're one of the favourites to win the tournament. Russia's not the best team defensively or offensively, so I would probably go for a Belgium attacker and a Belgium defender as well. I know in my team again I've got Denayer. He's pretty cheap, 4.5, and I've also got Lukaku, who's been scoring for fun for Inter Milan. So again, yeah, I think that's good options to choose from Belgium in fact, for the whole group. I mean, I'll probably discuss match day 2 and 3 in another video, but I think just for this fixture on its own, I think Belgium versus Russia is a good one to target. I definitely target Belgium. England versus Croatia. I think this will be a really interesting fixture. England probably looking for revenge over the World Cup knockout stages with falling short to Croatia, so they're definitely looking for revenge. Croatia are a team that I think they're a weird one. They could quite easily go under the radar, but at the same time, their squad is aging. They've not really got a clear identity of the way they play football. They don't really stand out as a team. So I would definitely prioritise England in this fixture. They're one of the favourites to win the tournament, and yeah, I guess in my team I've gone for Harry Kane and John Stones. I'm deliberating John Stones because he may not start. It's a difficult one to figure out the defensive lineup for England, but I do think they'll keep clean sheets, and I've got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet against Croatia. And Harry Kane, obviously, he scores goals for fun. He's on penalties, so he's a good option. Expensive, but I do think he's one of the favourites to score. I think he's one of the favourites for Golden Boot this tournament as well. So I think could be a good fixture to target England players. England versus Croatia. Next one is Austria versus North Macedonia. This is a really interesting fixture, I think. I think a lot of people are underestimating North Macedonia just because I think this is their first time in a major tournament for a long time. And Austria, I really don't rate Austria as a team. I could be wrong about them, but they've not really got that many standout players. They do concede a few goals. I mean, I think, let's have a quick look here. So it looks like they conceded 9 goals. Austria conceded 9 goals in totaling the Nations League, friendlies, and qualifiers as well. It could be one to target against Austria. North Macedonia also conceded quite a few goals. I think they conceded 13 over those same fixtures. But having said that, they do have some standout players for North Macedonia. So just quick look at my team. Elmas, who's very much like a number 10 style player, can score goals and can assist. But he's their star player, and he's 6 million, which is relatively good. There are other good options as well, but I've picked him because I think that the group is pretty weak, and I do think Austria will concede goals. Again, Alioski, I think that's a really, really good pick just because he's on penalties and he's very, very attacking left wing back / left winger. So I would definitely target those types of players. I mean, I could be wrong. I think it's a difficult one to predict this, but I do think North Macedonia will maybe shock a few people in their group. And moving on to the next fixture, Netherlands versus Ukraine. I really, really don't rate Netherlands. I don't think they are favourites to win their group, but I really don't think they're going to do that well. Simply because I don't believe their manager is like, he's just not a great manager. Frank de Boer is one of the worst managers in this tournament, and even though Netherlands have got a pretty good squad, they're missing Virgil van Dijk, so defensively I don't think they will be that great. And they're also, they're just not got a great manager. I think they're going to concede goals. They will score goals, but they're also going to concede quite a few goals, I think. Ukraine are nothing special really, but they don't concede many goals and they don't score many goals. So I wouldn't target players playing against them, and I wouldn't target players in their team. So this is kind of an avoid fixture for me. I'm not really that interested in Netherlands or Ukraine. I do have Klaassen in my midfield, but that's simply because he's 5.5. And like I said, I do think Netherlands will score goals, but I also think they'll concede them. That might change. I may get rid of him out of my team, But I do think if he does start, he could be a pretty good option. He's probably playing number 8 role or number 10, and he does tend to get an assist or a goal when he plays for Netherlands. So it could be a good one to target. He's only 5.5, but generally I would avoid this fixture. So moving on to the next ones, we've got Scotland versus Czech Republic. Again, I would just avoid this fixture completely. I've no idea who's gonna come out on top in this one. If I had to bet, I'd probably say Czech Republic, but Scotland, are going to this tournament quite seriously. They really want to get, not be the embarrassment of the tournament, and they've got very passionate fans, a passionate team, so they could surprise some people. But again, I just probably avoid this fixture. There's no standout stars for Scotland, and there's no standout stars for Czech. If I had to go with a player, I'd probably go with Sucic for Czech, and if I had to go for Scotland, I'd maybe target Robertson or potentially McGinn. But again, I would probably just avoid this fixture. There's better fixtures out there. I'd probably predict a draw for that one. Poland versus Slovakia. I think Poland are a difficult one to predict. I think typically they don't concede that many goals. They only conceded 5 goals during qualifications, friendlies, and Nations League. But I think Lewandowski is a bit overpriced, and yeah, they're not really a standout team. I don't think they're an okay team. I think their manager gets them playing attacking football, but at the same time they don't concede many goals. So I wouldn't be against targeting some of the defenders. Maybe they've got some good budget options. They've got Szczesny in goal, and they've also got Bednarak, who's only 4.5. So I potentially target them purely for this fixture, simply because Slovakia don't score many goals. Slovakia, I actually have no idea what their team is, but I know that they don't score many goals, and they're one of the weakest teams in the tournament. So I definitely, if I was going to target this fixture, I would say I'd go for a Poland defender over an attacker. But I couldn't argue against picking Lewandowski. The only argument I'd make is that the Met perhaps are better forwards for that price. So moving on, we've got Spain versus Sweden. I think this is a difficult one to predict because I think Sweden are definitely an underrated team. They tend to pretty much always make the quarterfinals, sometimes semis. So it's a difficult one to predict. I think there won't be many goals in this game. I think Spain are a pretty defensively sound team. They've recently just got Aymeric Laporte, who's a great defender, and they hold a lot of possession for most games they play, which makes it difficult for teams to score against them. But having said that, Sweden have got a lot of talent. They're a decent side. They don't concede many goals either. So I wouldn't even be surprised if this was a 0-0 draw. I would personally target Spain defenders or potentially Spain attacker. I have got, just quickly look at my team, I've got Ferran Torres. That might change again, but if Spain do score, I do fancy him to get a goal. And for 8 million midfielder getting a goal, it's pretty decent value. I would tend to target midfielders who get you goals rather than assists. So yeah, it could be a good option, but again, Sweden don't score many goals, so I may transfer him out for a different player. Otherwise, I've also got Unai Simon. My captain will change, by the way. I'd probably just ignore that. But Unai Simon, I don't think Sweden. They may not score, and defensively, Spain are pretty good. So I've decided to put them in my team. It's only 5 million, and you get to switch your goalie out for substitutions. So it could be a good option. So yeah, moving on to the next fixture, we've got final day for that match day. Hungary versus Portugal. Hungary, they don't score many goals. Hungary, they're probably the favourite to finish last in their group. They don't score many goals. However, I do think they will come and park the bus against Portugal and pretty much all of the teams in that group. So I think they'll make it very difficult for Portugal to score, but equally they probably won't score many goals themselves. Portugal are defensive side anyway. I don't know if you just watched their recent match. I'm not even sure who it was against, but Santos pretty much plays very defensive football, even with a squad as talented as theirs. They play very defensive football, but they don't concede many goals. So I would definitely target Portugal defenders for this game. Just quick look at my team. I do have Patricio in my team. I don't have any other. I don't have any attackers from Portugal, but that may change depending on the fixture. But for this one, I'd definitely target Portugal defenders. France versus Germany. Again, I don't rate Germany at all. Similar to the Netherlands, I think that they're one of the most overrated teams going into this tournament. They've got a manager who is pretty much he's announced that he's resigning after this tournament. So yeah, I don't rate the defence. Rudiger is inconsistent. I think he only seems to play well for Chelsea because they've got a great manager in Tuchel. They're missing who's that defender that they've got? They're missing one of their key defenders. I know that, and they're just overall they're not a great team. Germany, they're not what they once were. Whereas France are probably the favourites to win this tournament. I think they're drawn favourites, including England. I've targeted two France players. I've got Kimpembe and Mbappe. I do think France will score goals, and I also don't think they'll concede many. So yeah, that's pretty much a rundown of all the fixtures for the first match day. The only one I've not really discussed is this guy who's my 4 million midfielder. Sorry, I don't think he's going to do much, but I needed, I've got big expensive forwards, so I needed a budget player there. He maybe give me 2 points, but other than that, there's also Mason Mount. I do think he's quite a well-priced midfielder for England. He can score goals and he can assist. And yeah, for 7 million, I also do think he's going to be a regular starter. He's had a great season with Chelsea. For 7 million, I think he's worth putting him in your team simply because England probably will score goals. That's pretty much a breakdown of my team. If you've got any questions, just post down in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, peace out.